Enfield rifle is after up to 500 metres. And when I've asked them how, they said, well, we took it down a range. It was with measured rounds, on a press, on a stand. And already I'm going, yeah, I'm sorry, it was what? Yeah, in the hands of a decent rifleman, an Enfield rifle could potentially hit a target at 500 metres. With the original rounds, with the rough measurement. Marching up to the enemy within 50 yards, the whites of your eye stuff, you know, and of course it didn't work very well. Cavalry chargers were getting wrecked at 500 metres. Cavalry chargers stopped immediately. They just got absolutely wrecked. So, well, and oh, what a nice, how about that, ladies and gentlemen? That is a parade ground wheel. Now that's not normally used on the battlefield, but actually there's at least 2 occasions where it was very famously used. And the reason that they're doing this in twos is during the Napoleonic era, the British fought 2 ranks deep. The French fought 6 ranks deep, and all laid down, which meant you had 6 lots of men, all without ammunition in their guns. The British 2 ranks deep discovered that they could fire most effectively. This is the pattern that most modern armies of the period were adopting. So ideally, you always want to be 2 ranks facing the enemy. The problem is if you walk down a road 2 ranks deep, your army becomes a very long thing. So in practice, because the width of the roads, in practice, armies might march 4 ranks deep. And as I say, they were literally marching up to each other across battlefields like these with these much more modern weapons. In the distance we see our sharpshooters. Now our Confederates are doing their bayonet charges to see how we would do a bayonet charge. We're not going to put the bayonets on at the moment, we'll talk about those in a second. In the far distance of the arena, you'll see our sharpshooters in green. They are doing much more modern manoeuvres. Oh, the Union's doing a wheel as well, that's a nice wheel. So that's, the first Confederate wheel was really good. Let's see what they're going to do from here. Now the sharpshooters were put together by a guy called Berdan. He wanted a much more modern way of fighting. He wanted a much more modern looking group of infantrymen. The officers trained with the men just as modern soldiers do. Not just that, but they fight in pods, where the man who's covering covers the other 2 moves. And they have this green uniform. The green uniform has black buttons. They like to hide in trees. Yes, they do. They like to get into cover. Their job is to go ahead of the force of scouting and to take out drummers, officers, buglers, signallers, that kind of thing. And they have this Sharps rifle. We will demonstrate that in a bit. And they fight like modern soldiers.
You hear Grandad? Yeah, Grandad.
Now the other thing that we get asked, here we go, this is if you're coming down a road straight into a battle, into a line of battle, and you need to do this as quickly as possible, because if you do it Napoleonic style, the quicker you can get your men into line, get them into firing a volley and disrupting the enemy's arrangements, the quicker you can win the battle, because the more of him you get rid of, the less of them is to kill you. Now, we're going to ask our men here to do something. They're actually just priming. These are percussion guns. So unlike flintlocks, they don't have a flintlock at the back. They just have a little nipple on which is placed a brass cap, which is full of something called fulminated mercury, which produces a lovely shower spark which will go down into the breech and cause the weapon to fire. They haven't loaded, I'll show you about the loading in a second, but you're going to hear what the percussion cap sounds like.
No, thank you. No. Well, then you can't go on there.
That's just the percussion cap. Now, if this does get uncomfortably loud at any point, by the way, put your hands in front of your ears like this, not over your ears, and open your mouths. I'm going to say the same thing later. That way, if there's a shock wave or a loud bang, the air moves through your head. If you close your mouth, put your hands in your ears, you'll put a block of air in your head which will be vibrating, and you'll go home with headaches. In your own time, Major?
Watch the Confederates, because they're going to fire.
Now, if this is a good volley, it should sound like one gun gone off.
Ready? They're going.
That wasn't bad, ladies and gentlemen. Give a round of applause for our Confederate volley. You'll also notice that there is a slight accompanying visual effect, the smoke. Now that's one company of perhaps 20 men. Imagine that this company stretched all the way across there. Imagine this was a still a day, and imagine there was a bit of moisture in the air. After 3 rounds, you can't see anything. But once cannon get involved, the fog of war is very real. We've got a fairly calm day, there is a bit of smoke carrying it away. And for those of you who are in that, isn't it a lovely distinctive smell? I love the smell of gunpowder in the morning. So, there we go. Now, the problem is, of course, if you fired a volley like that, it's all well and lovely, it's very damaging to your enemy, but if your enemy is later on in the war, he's behind a defilade or behind a barricade, he sees you march up to fire his volley, and he ducks. He ducks behind the volley, he lets you fire your volley, and then while you're reloading that 20 seconds, he starts shooting you, which is mildly inconvenient if you happen to be in this army. They're still doing this mid-war, by the way. So what did they do to combat it? Well, this is what happened. This is what they did to combat that. This is suppressive fire, firing by fire. And as you'll notice, the man who's already fired, they're all I don't know if anybody saw that smoke ring go past me then. That is how much air is being moved by these alone, which is why they move backwards. So every man keeps loading and firing, because once firing by fire is given, they'll just keep doing it. They'll keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it. And that way, if you happen to be the defender, you're never quite sure when that round's coming in. So firing by a fire is suppressive fire. Again, it's exactly the same. But don't forget, they're using exactly the same guns. Now I mentioned the shortages that these guys had. One of the advantages to the homogeneity of this war is that if they captured a battlefield, and they quite often did at the beginning of the war, then they could use all the guns and ammunition that these guys are using, with perhaps the exception of the Sharps rifles and the Henry rifles and the new innovations that these guys will bring to the field. But we'll show you all about that in a second. Don't forget, if it's one volley, it should sound one.
Grandad's going to fire. Look at Grandad.
No pressure. I'm going to give him that. I'm going to give him that. Oh, that was really good, actually. Oh, it's got competitive now. It's got competitive now. It's all on. Well, let's be fair. Behave. Let's be fair. Ladies and gentlemen, who do you think did the best volley? Did we think the Confederates did the best volley?
No. No.
Oh, I see where this crowd's going. Or do we think the Union did the best volley? He'll be crowd surfing next, don't encourage him. It's about time they won. Oh, yeah, very magnanimous of you. But we are of course going to explain something. So are you all loaded again? You'd like to do your firing by fire? Okay, well the Union Army's now going to do firing by fire. The Confederates, by the way, are just capping off. At the end of any display, they will cap off to make sure that all the guns are unloaded before they leave the field. There we can see the Union now continuing their firing by fire. You also notice that there's some debris smoking on the field. We will deal with that. These are real weapons, so these are play firing guns, cap and ball, percussion cap rifles. We've talked about the muzzle-loading rifle, you've seen them in action. It's a very reliable system, works every time, you're happy with it. Newfangled, this is a Sharps rifle. It loads from the breech. It still is a percussion weapon, you still have to put a percussion cap on it, it loads from the breech. But, what's the benefit of this weapon system? Well, it doesn't perform the bullet. Ostensibly one of these is good size. 1,000 yards, again realistically probably about 500, but let's see what the difference is once we actually fire them. So, in your own time, are you loaded? Oh, do you want to empty yours then? You get an extra shot here. He gets to play with all the toys. There you go. So we're going to ask these gentlemen, in their own time, to load and then fire and see who's the quickest. So gentlemen, load and fire. The freehand Enfield is very, very useful when stood up. It's designed to be operated in this position, and as you can see, it's a fairly natural procedure for him to do. And there's not a great deal of difference in the times. So yeah, fair enough. However, Mr. Nightingale here, when people are shooting at you, what do you prefer to do? Oh, you like to be a bit smaller. So we'll ask Corporal Mayor to join in with the fun. And we'll see if this makes any difference. Gentlemen, in your own time, load and fire.
Archie.
Oh, the upset is beginning. Oh, you're on fire today, aren't you? Oh, feeling super confident. What's going wrong? You got a jammed around, I see. Well, even with a jammed around problem, you still manage to kind of keep up. But, you know, it's not your favourite position, is it?
Simple and reliable.
Simple and reliable, he says. Well, let's see how it works when we do to the modern way of fighting. He has to do his Zumba class normally before this, so... Right, are we ready then? In your own load and fire. It's a bit more fun this time, isn't it? Oh, misfire! Oh, it's another misfire! It could be the biggest upset yet. This is the joy of working with Blackfire. Oh, misfire! Oh, it's all going wrong.
Hey!
Do you wanna pull your frock coat over your head and run down the crowd line now?
No,
you can run and slide on your knees if you want. You are allowed. It's the joy of working with black powder weapons. You never know exactly what's going to happen. There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, can we have a round of applause for of course, Private Nightingale and Corporal Mayor.
So it is actually quite far from our camp to the small arena where we've just been. So the small arena is on the other side of these couple of craft tents all the way down. So I'm just walking with Archie back to camp, but I realised halfway back I should probably show you the distance. So I'm just going to walk, try and avoid as many people as possible, but it's busy, it's always busier on Saturday, Sunday, these blue fiestas, that's what's great about them. So let's go for a walk back to camp. Now this goes up into the fairground all the way over here. We're not going, Archie! We're not going that way. Come on. We're going back to camp, so... Little man, this way please. Get off your nose.
No, the band is. Where did you press band us?
So we're only halfway there, like I was saying, sorry. We've got some balloons going off the balloon arena, our camp is in the far distance over there. So I'm trying to keep an eye on Archie at the same time because there's a lot of people. Careful, careful! Archie! Come on, please. This way. Up, walk. This way, come on, this way. Oh, this way, please, now. Where do you want to stand now? Stand up, walk that way. Walk, don't stop, walk this way. Right, one more, please. Thank you. This way. We're going to drink too much. Look, there's a flag, come on. Come on. You can think. Go, go. No, this way, please. Good boy. This way, please. Archie. As you can see, our camp is here on the left now. The Vikings are all on the right. I don't know if I even said this weekend. The Vikings are here, as well as us. Archie, we're nearly there. We're going to get a drink and some food. Although you just heard me talking to Archie Dribble, so maybe I'll mute that part. you want to get a drink and some snacks? Come on then. Right, I'm going to have to stop videoing. Oh, no, I'm not. Nearly had to carry Archie. Go! Go! Ready? Steady, go! Ready? Steady, go! Come on then, we're back now.